Welcome, everybody, to Being Stuck is an Illusion. Say hello if you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from so we can come together as a global family in this space. I'm excited to connect with you. My name is Laura. I'm a spiritual therapist of 20 years in New York State and an Akashic Records mentor. And today we are going to be talking about this concept that being stuck is an illusion. This is a phrase that we have gotten very accustomed to using. I'm stuck. I'm at an impasse. I'm not making any progress. Right. And I sat down with the Akashic Records to just connect around this. And the reason that I did that is because we can all have these sensations, and it's really a sensation of being stuck, sticky energy that can come up for us, or frustration that can come up for us. And what happens is if this comes up repeatedly, I then say to myself, okay, I know that being stuck is an illusion, and I'm able to have perspective on that. But when it comes up consistently, it's like, okay, Akash, there's this clearly a message that desires to be shared. So let's sit down and talk about this. So if you're somebody who is not familiar with the Akashic Records, hey, Stephanie, good morning. You can check out this YouTube video and you can use it over and over and over again. It tells you about the Akashic Records, what they are. It's a spiritual home for your soul. Basically, it's my favorite place to connect with your soul and develop an intimate relationship there. So you can check that out. But I sat down with the Akash and I said, okay, I was at this point where I felt like I'm at an impasse, or we are at an impasse in our relationship. Right. And that's where this can come up. It can be, well, I'm stuck in terms of not moving forward in my spirituality. I'm stuck in terms of not getting better with physical symptoms. I'm stuck in this relationship. I feel like this person has a truth and that person has a truth, and they're butting up against each other. And this is happening a ton right now with the polarization happening on the planet, particularly in the US around political parties. And so we're running up against this. We are at an impasse. This person believes this person believes that. And there's a lot of cutoffs. There's a lot of turning away that's happening between people, and like, oh, I just can't deal with this, because they're exhausted, they're frustrated. And the fact is that we're never stuck, right? And I want to bring forward here in a few different steps how we can move through this sensation or this concept in our minds that we are stuck. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that when we define an impasse, I am at an impasse. And I want you to think about this. Where do you feel stuck? Do you feel stuck in your mind? Do you feel stuck in your nervous system? Where do you feel you're at an impasse? I can't get anywhere. I'm not making any progress. I'm going in circles. This cycle keeps repeating. If you desire to be seen in this and to allow this energy to start releasing around it, put it in the comments and let us see you. If not, write it in your journal, give it a space to land, or speak it out loud. Okay? Nobody can hear you. I'm the only one live here. So you're safe to do that. Okay. So just take a moment to consider that for yourself. Being at an impasse, as we define it, is no progress, no advancement at all, a deadlock, a standstill, AKA I am stuck, right? That is how it is defined as a word. And the fact is, it's bullshit, because energy is always moving and everything is energy. You are energy. I am energy. My phone is energy. This computer is energy. It's all energy. It was all created from energetic building blocks that existed in the universe before anything was created. This planet itself, right? And energy is always in motion. We learned this in basic physics, right? Atoms and molecules are always vibrating. Even in physical objects that seem completely still, like this table I have my hand on right now, right? They're always in motion. And when we always have motion, we always have progress. Okay. And if I look down here, you're going to see these are notes that I took in my journal, because this was like a sacred ritual I came into with the Akashic Records, to just be like, what is meant to be received by the collective around this concept? Okay. So what they said was, this concept of impasse, this concept of stuck is an illusion, because you're just not seeing the progress in front of you. You're looking over here because you're thinking, okay, I want to go there. I want to accomplish this. I want to feel better. I want to get to X outcome. So I'm focusing over here and I'm not seeing the progress. Meanwhile, there's a shitload of progress going on over here or underneath the surface that you're not seeing, or that you're not tuned into, because you're not present with that part of you, or you're not focused on that. Okay. And we rely on this external evidence around whether or not we have progress. And the thing is even when we're on a plateau in nature, right? Even when we're on a plateau, which a plateau in nature is looks completely void of life, flat, nothing going on there, can't access it half the time, right? Why? Why is a plateau created on this planet? It's created so that it is protected from the elements. It's actually a really safe space for new growth, for new species to come into form, because it doesn't have all of these other elements. And it's wild because we don't think about that for ourselves when we want to kind of step back a little bit and say, all right, I know I'm not stuck. I know, so I'm going to be in presence with myself without all this external noise, without all of these measures outside of me that determine whether or not I'm moving forward, right? And we allow ourselves to just be present in this space. That's like being on a plateau. That's when new growth can arrive, new aspects of yourself, new awarenesses of what you're stepping into are going to come forward and show themselves. Okay. So what I want to ask you here is, what are you focusing on? What are you focusing on? Again, allow this to be seen. Speak it out loud, put it on paper, or throw it in the comments. What are you currently focusing on? They're bringing us into hardcore training during this live. And when I say hardcore training, this doesn't mean we're sitting here jumping over walls and slogging through mud, right? It's actually a very, very simple concept, but it's one that is absolutely vital to be convictedly devoted to get the results you desire. Okay, so hardcore training means take this seriously. What are you focusing on? Because the fact is that you've chosen your truth. You've chosen your truth. Somewhere deep inside of you, you have chosen your truth. When you say I'm in an impasse, I'm stuck. Okay, well, again, what are you focusing on? What are you choosing? What have you chosen and what are you focusing on? Right? Because we think, okay, well, I knew that was going to come up for you, Nanette. My husband and I staying safe. Yep. So you're focusing on that. And it's, okay, I got to slog through this. I'm not making progress. I'm not making progress. When really it's like, okay, come back to the plateau. Right? And I know you continue to do this, Nanette, right? Coming back to the plateau and being in presence with that movement where there is movement. And what they're going to show you is not just the movement that's happening inside of you, but that the movement that's happening as an extension of what's going on inside of you. In addition to, there is movement in society. There is movement in smaller collaborations within humanity. There is movement within certain institutions. Placing your focus on those areas, allowing yourself to be more active in those areas, because momentum begets momentum. If you're in business and you feel like your business isn't moving forward, right? Where can I access momentum? Because I know there's momentum. Maybe there isn't momentum in where I'm focused in my business. Maybe there isn't momentum in where I'm focused on where I want my health to get better. But there is momentum somewhere within my body. There is momentum somewhere within my business. So how can I actualize and forward that? Because once I feel that momentum going, that train running, I'm going to run faster. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, let's go. We're moving, right? And it's going to open energy in other areas of your life. Okay? Right, exactly, Nanette. Your focus has become sharper towards each other and our faith is stronger for sure. Yes, everything is coming along to invite you into a richer aspect than you thought you needed when you were focusing on that outcome. It's actually going to enrich you deeper than what you were focusing on and thinking that would offer you. The universe is always offering us something bigger. Okay. So you've chosen your truth, and this truth is not always concrete, right? The truth that we choose is not always like, okay, it's going to be, this exact pizza with these exact toppings. That's what I want, right? Like the truth is not concrete. It is a sensation inside of you. So as you close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, allow the body to relax. And if you can't do this right now, come back and do it when you have a chance to do it. It only takes a few moments. As you continue to breathe, allow your body to continue to soften. Loosen the jaw, soften the face. When we exhale with a sigh, it signals to the subconscious mind that we're letting go. As you soften the face and relax the forehead, feel the crown of the head open up and soften, holding less tension. And just breathe up and down your spine, letting the body relax further. And just set the intention to come into sensation of your truth. You may not get this right away. You can come back to this video and practice it anytime you want. Be in presence. Your body, I promise you, is constantly speaking to you. The answer of I don't know or I don't feel anything with sensation means you need to be with it longer. Because I can tell you with 8,000% certainty, your body is constantly talking. So as you connect to your truth, what is the sensation that comes forward? It could be emotional. It could be a pain. It could be a movement you feel somewhere in your body. It could be your stomach grumbling. What is coming forward in the body, in the field right now? And drop it in the comments. Or write it down for yourself. Or speak it out loud. Breathing deeply. Staying in this for a few more moments if you need to. Tingly spine. I'm feeling like an opening in the heart space, almost like a V shape from the base of my heart space upwards. I'm feeling an eagerness. I'm feeling like a leaning forward. A desire for more breath, like opening my capacity, opening my energy, opening my space to create with and to receive from. And this is where it starts, right? My crown is opening more. Yep. This is where it starts. And you recognize that as you continue to return to the sensation, it's going to get more dialed in. And this is a memory that starts to be created by the body. Our body creates memory. Every neuroscientist has figured this out who has done research, right? That trauma, memories, all of those things are held within our bodies. As we visualize or as we come into sensation, particularly sensation, of what it is we are calling forward, our body creates a memory, which means we can unlock that memory. We can come back to that and open that tool, using the body as a tool, anytime we desire to feel into that sensation of truth. And that will guide you. Because the fact is, when you are stuck, when you are at an impasse and you're kind of like, okay, is it this or that? Okay, is it this truth or that truth? Is it this direction or that direction? How do I get out of this? Which way do I go? All of those things that come forward, right? You already know the answer. You already know the answer. You already know your choice. You're just afraid to choose it, right? You're afraid to choose it. Or you haven't spent long enough time with yourself to have the clarity you already know. You already know. Pressure in my heart. Good. Your heart is expanding. That means your heart is expanding. It shows how big you love. Anticipation. Yes, I'm feeling that too, Sherry. Anticipation can have some anxiety with it as well. Also some excitement, which they really exist on the same spectrum. I can't remember who said this quote, but it's fear is excitement without the breath, right? So anticipation without attaching to that outcome, like you said with your crystals, Sherry. I'm focusing on this process to get my crystals. And when you felt like it wasn't happening enough, it wasn't unfolding. But when you surrender more, when you trust, when you focus on something else that lights you up, that feels like truth, that offers you more of this sensation in the body, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with what you're focusing on, that energy starts to unlock, right? Tears rolling. Good. Yes. Let it flow. Let the energy open. That's what's happening. Sometimes what we're going to recognize when we tune into this sensation of truth within the body and this knowing is that we do have an anger. or an agitation or tears coming up, because there is a shedding that's occurring so that we have access to that purity that exists within our truth underneath. So sometimes we need a little bit of a code cracked as we step into that. And it's like, well, why does my truth feel like heartache? Why does my truth feel like anger? Right? That's why I say share it in the comments, write it down, speak it out loud. Because there is a part of you that desires to be heard. If there is something there that has felt like it is holding you back, that has felt like an excuse that exists in your mind or body or energy field for why you're stuck or why you can't spend this time to be in deeper presence with what you already know. Okay, so take a deep breath. We're going to move into this next part. This next part has to do with this knowing, right? And staying convicted with that knowing, trusting this process, not thinking it's bullshit, right? Trusting this process, staying with it. Nothing's going to work if you don't practice it for 21 days or more. 21 days is the smallest amount of time that it takes for our nervous systems just to create the tiniest little nodule at the end of a dendrite. Do any of you remember dendrites and axons that exist within the synapse of the nervous system that we learned when we were in high school? Does anybody remember this? So at the end of a dendrite, right, it connects with an axon and a synapse. And that synapse is the space between. So what happens after 21 days is you start to get a little bit of a growth on the end of a dendrite, right? I love that I'm bringing us back to high school right now. You get a little bit of a growth on the end of a dendrite at the end of 21 days. That sucker is going to shrink back or it's going to stay there if you don't keep going. So this is what I'm talking about with conviction. And this is what I'm talking about with making sure that you also prevent further sensations of impasses and being stuck. We want to change the nervous system. That's this next part. We want to change the nervous system. The progress you're meant to see is going to be revealed to you. I promise you, it's going to be revealed to you. And your responsibility is to keep coming back into this, chosen truth that you know is there, and connecting to it and focusing on what brings you more of that sensation of an opening, of a purity, of a centeredness, of a clarity, right? So after 21 days, this little nugget starts to grow in the end of the dendrite, right? And when we are 64 days out, a full 64 days out, it creates this kind of mushroom extension on the end of the dendrite that is now permanent after 64 days. Permanent. You have officially changed your nervous system. So how many of you can stick with this for 64 days, right? We are distracted humans, and that's what comes up and keeps us stuck in the quote unquote impasse and these repeating cycles because we keep getting pulled away. Yeah, I know Laura said this, but this shit still isn't happening. Guess what? When somebody gets hurt, for me, I got sepsis. What was it? 8 years ago at this point, my neurological system was severely damaged at the time. I couldn't walk well for a few years. You name it. We can talk about that for hours. Okay. With any kind of injury to the nervous system, it takes 6 to 9 months to recover, to start seeing evidence of recovery. And I'll tell you, you talk about somebody like Joe Dispenza, like RJ Spina, like these people who have had severe neurological injuries, particularly to their spine, and have stuck with a convicted faith. If you follow any of their teachings, you will see it's like I kept doing this visual every day. I did the same damn practice, energetic practice, for 2.5 years. And yeah, it got boring. But it also healed me. Right. And so I'm not saying 2.5 years, I'm saying 64 days. Right? To see that external progress. You're going to see progress before that, because at the 21-day mark, you're going to have that little extension that started on the dendrite. You're going to start seeing that. You're going to feel it inside of you if you're paying attention to that, rather than just where's the external evidence, right? We need faith now more than ever. There is so much division happening. We need faith now more than ever. Can you have faith in yourself? If you don't have faith in something bigger, do you have faith in yourself? If you can't have faith in humanity, can you have faith in something bigger? Can you have faith in what's right in front of you in your energy field in terms of, I'm feeding myself, I'm getting up every day, right? Like, it's, where are you focusing? And recognizing, so importantly, that you can rest in the love that you are. Why do you even give a shit that you're stuck? Because you want to move. You're not somebody who likes to sit around on your ass. You want to move, or you're being guided to move, or you're being pulled to move, right? And this isn't just to make everybody happy. It's because you like momentum. It feels good. You feel better about yourself when you can move your ass, when you can feel like, I'm making progress, right? And so it's not getting distracted from the love that you are and the love that you have. The love that you are and the love that you have. I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, there is love surrounding you at all times. It's, do you see it? Are you looking for it? Are you anticipating that? Are you expecting that to arrive? Are you looking for where love is offering to you? Even if it's a rain shower from Mother Earth, even if it is a warm breakfast, even if it is indoor plumbing, even if it is, I got a new sweater this weekend, right? Like, where is the love that exists within you and already outside of you? You care about not being stuck because you like momentum. Why? Because you want to be more of who you are, because you love yourself. Even if you're like, oh, Laura, I can't resonate with saying I love myself. Great. Okay, fine. You don't have to say that yet. I encourage you to become more acclimated to this knowing. Because if you're here and you're watching this live or on the replay, you do love yourself, at least some. And you're here because you want to love yourself more and you want to feel that more and you want to offer it to more people, right? The people who are attracted to my world are not just here to make themselves feel better. They're here to serve other people. They love loving other people. They love enriching other people's lives, whether it's their family, whether it's clients, right? And so it's knowing that this sensation of stuck or impasse is truly a sign. I desire to expand and show love more. Great. Connect to that love instead of the rat race of, okay, I'm over here and I have to do this and I'm not making progress. Right. And it's like, dude, you are so loving. You embody love. You just want to be more love. You want to offer more love. Right. And you want humanity to love each other more. You want to exude more of that. Right. So let's stop getting distracted so that our dendrites and axons still fire shit in the synapse that we've been used to since we've been little nuggets, maybe even in a trauma history, right? And instead get devoted to returning to this love, to returning to this sensation of truth. And that is a love that you can, again, connect to in yourself, find evidence for in your environment, or receive from the divine. Look for in your environment. Gratitude is one of the number one ways to get to this point. How many of you have a gratitude practice? And this, by the way, we talk about this like it's a freaking broken record. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I know. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more than that. I'm going to deepen your gratitude just a little bit today. It's these tiny little micro shifts that help enormously with tuning into this sensation and embodying more of this vibration on a consistent basis. Right. So when I say gratitude practice, this doesn't have to be I'm writing in my journal every day. It can be, I remember that even if I am in a place where I feel stuck or frustrated, I'm so grateful for what I have. You can have both. You can be so grateful and feel frustrated. Before I get out of bed, I love that, Stephanie. Right? Repeating what you're grateful for before you get out of bed. For me, it is being grateful for when the shit hits the fan. Oh, thank you. Whoo, thank you. Okay. I know something's at work here. I know I'm being opened. I know I'm being strengthened. I know I'm being fortified. I know I'm being clarified and refined. I have no idea to where yet, but I'm freaking grateful. Have you gotten to that point where you're grateful for when the shit hits the fan? It doesn't have to happen in the immediate response, right? We are human beings with nervous systems. but let's make this more of a natural reaction. So we're going to deepen this a little bit. Again, this is a tiny little micro shift. There is, I am grateful for. I'm grateful for this. I'm so grateful for this. And I am in deep appreciation of. And then there's getting to the sensation of overflowing grace and abundance. Not only am I in deep appreciation of this, but I claim it. Like I'm like drinking this in, like it is the most nourishing drink I've ever received. Give me more. Can you imagine saying that if you're in excruciating pain? Can you imagine saying that? It's wild how much, and I've said this story so many times. If you've watched me before, you've probably heard this when I worked with, I've been a therapist for 20 years. So I've worked with a lot of patients who have psychosis, and they've had these really scary hallucinations and delusions, right? When we turn toward them, they don't teach this enough in graduate school. When you turn toward them and say, I want more of you. I want more of this scary shit. When you're held in safe space with another, obviously, right? Especially if you're really feeling kind of unsteady. I want more of this. Guess what happens? It's like, oh, okay, I'm not being resisted anymore. So I'm just gonna, it automatically would always turn into an angel. It would dissolve because it would be like, okay, I have my space. I'm just gonna be like, bleh, and then move my way through the field. Or a benevolent energy. Because ultimately, how we view these things, whether it's pain, whether it's stuckness or difficulty, is based on our own characterization of it with our minds, with our habituated nervous systems, conditioned nervous system, stories from people outside of us. We can stop here and ask ourselves, is this energy even mine? Right? Is this even mine to hold? Some of the stuckness that you have, is it even yours? Right? Is it even yours? If there were nobody else around to say, like, okay, to judge what direction you go or to offer you accolades for it, if there were nobody else around and it were just you, what would you choose? What would you do? It becomes a much easier decision, right? A much easier decision. So when we talk about gratitude, we're going to deepen this in terms of kind of like calling it in and claiming it, regardless of what we're saying we're grateful for, whether it's something like pain, like I just talked about as an example, or whether it's something that we're talking about, we're deeply, deeply like the love that we just talked about, our self-love, divine love, the love of those around us, the love of society that we might not even feel here in this moment, but is still reaching us, right? The love of society for the people who are filling the grocery stores so that we can purchase food, right? Like things like that. And not focusing on the concrete in this moment when we're talking about gratitude, but just saying, give me more of this energy. Give me more of this love. Give me more of this abundance that I know is flowing to me, even if I can't see it, even if I have no idea what the hell is abundant in my world right now. I desire to feel like I am overflowing, like they're filling me like a pitcher from the base of my spine all the way up to my head, and it is pouring out the sides of me. I am overflowing in gratitude and grace and abundance. Abundance in any form, guys. This is health. Abundance of health. That's my favorite thing. Abundance of health, mental health or physical health, right? That's what I love to guide people to the most. Feel like your best self. There is no reason why you can't feel the highest level of joy and expansion, even if you feel like you can't move physically. I've been there. I've been there. Take a nice deep breath in to receive this. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a troubleshooting piece here. Because some of you might say, okay, Laura, all right, I'm convicted. Okay, I can try this shit. But what if my mind won't stop or I can't stop squirming? I'm restless. I can't sit still. My mind's going, like continuing to focus. This is where keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. Can you dive into your journal? Yeah, you can. And I'm not saying that using the journal isn't helpful. I love the journal. And sometimes when I get really stuck, the journal really does help me. Either when I'm channeling, like I did here with this this class that I'm teaching here to you now, but even just, journaling about where you're truly getting benefit from this potential stuck point, right? Because the fact is, if nothing you do works after being consistent with it, or you can't be consistent with it, then there's an investment there. But what I like even better, because we're keeping it out of the mind, is reciting the Ho'oponopono prayer. I know a lot of you have heard of the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is this prayer that was recited by Hawaiian communities that really took responsibility for any kind of difficulty that was existing within the community, whether it was related to them or not, right? And they all just recited this prayer with or around anyone in the community that felt some kind of impasse or difficulty, right? And they would just repeat over and over again, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you just keep repeating it over and over again until the energy starts to dissipate. It's wild because this is actually a forgiveness prayer. It's considered a forgiveness prayer. So it's self-forgiveness around maybe there's aspects of your energy field from either your ancestry, past lives, or this lifetime that are keeping you stuck that you don't recognize. The fact is, you don't have to know the story behind that. We can dive into that. We can do a past life regression. We can do astral travel. We can do all that stuff. But some of that stuff can really be distracting as well. And we don't want to get distracted. We want to keep this simple. If you're really not making any progress, okay, we can dig deeper into that. But I can promise you, when you get convicted with this stuff and you keep turning back to the trust and the love and that knowing inside of you, that sensation, choosing that, being convicted in it, no matter what comes up, and continuing to remember over and over again to come back, whether you set a reminder on your phone or you put a post-it on your mirror and you keep coming back to this day by day, it automatically heals those patterns that exist energetically within this lifetime, previous lifetimes, or your ancestry. So I like this prayer because it gives the mind something to focus on and do, and the energy of it is very soft. It's very much that energy of love. So it brings in the releasing and the untangling of those tight energetic cords that can exist within the heart space, within the body, within the energy field. And just start to release some of this, and you stop reciting it when the energy feels complete. Like you're like, oh, okay. I feel an opening. I feel a relaxation. I feel a centeredness. And now I can come into this presence with myself. Now I can come into this receipt of the love and the knowing. Now I can be in space without feeling restless, without my mind taking me a million directions, so that I can help these dendrites grow, so that I can help this nervous system rewire in a direction that doesn't leave me feeling like a victim of circumstance, whether that's an internal circumstance or an external circumstance, and saying, I'm stuck, wah, I'm at an impasse, wah, I can't move. Yes, you can. Energy is always moving. It's coming into allowance of that truth. So that prayer, Ho'oponopono, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Whatever order feels good to you, choose it. You can Google this sucker if you don't have it on hand. It's easy peasy. I've done this before in very difficult situations, ones that I thought would take months and months and months and months to release, and release very quickly, and ones that I thought would release really quickly that took months. So you don't know how ingrained a pattern is consciously, and we don't have to. And I think that we get in our way when we dive into so many healing modalities around this shit, right? We dive into so many, including journaling sometimes, which is still filtered through the mind, by the way, even automatic writing, right? And yes, that can be a helpful tool, which is why I shared it here, because I use it myself. But I also want you to recognize the purity and the power of the simplicity of returning to the sensation. And I think that sometimes we do need, depending on where we are in our lives, depending on how activated our nervous systems are, sometimes we do need more of those tools like journaling, like movement of the body, like breath work, like the Ho'oponopono prayer, like chanting or singing, to get into a space where we can connect deeper to ourselves. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here today with this whole process is detachment. Right? Because ultimately that's what we're doing. We're detaching from this outcome, this gripping onto this has to be fixed. right? I've got to fix this. I've got to move past this impasse. Yeah? What if the impasse is going to move as you relax into it? Right? What if you're being invited to relax into it? And so when we detach from what it is, and this is so frustrating, guys, because people say, well, get intentional and get devoted, and you got to choose your goals, and then spirit will follow. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We are co-creators. Choose it. Let your desires flow through you. Let them guide you in terms of this is what I want. Go guns blazing. Choose what you want. But then relax. Then allow. Because the fact is, this is where self-trust comes in. The fact is, you're still going to move. Because when you relax into allowing, you're actually going to be guided to move in a much more clearer and measured direction than this haphazard or muddied shit, because there's expectation or gripping for what it's going to look like attached to your action, right? So it's actually scarier not to detach, because what you're doing is, when we're gripping so tightly, we're not letting any energy move through those fingertips or those fingers, right? We're gripping so tightly. And so when we're in flow and when we're in non-attachment, the concept of an impasse is not even a concept, because there's no destination. There's no destination. The destination is already found. It exists within you. The destination is already found. It is a sensation within you, because when you think about, okay, when I get unstuck, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel this way or that way. Great. Let's access that sensation and keep coming back to choosing that, so that you can remind yourself, I am not stuck. I am in motion. What gets you moving right now? Just choose to move. It can be that simple, because momentum begets momentum, right? So an impasse isn't even a concept, because there is no destination when we are not attached to one. What if you identified as a free spirit? What if we all identified as a free spirit that aren't locked into these containers of the body or our relationships or these situations we find ourselves in? It's just scary as fuck to say that you are, and that you can do whatever the hell you want at any time you want to. That's scary. But what about the money? But what about my family of origin? But what about my relationship? But what about? Right? Get honest with yourself. Get truthful with yourself about where it is you desire to go. Be in presence with that. Soften into that. Let spirit take care of the rest. Let the energy take care of the rest. Let what is the natural unfolding of the situation take care of the rest. There's funny, because my daughter, my youngest, is almost 10. And she had a situation at school with a friend. And they ended up, not talking to each other. And she's like, I want to kind of return to this, but I don't want to just decide with a label that we're besties again. Right. And so it was funny, because all these people around her were saying, you guys are friends again. You're talking, you're smiling at each other. You guys are friends again. You guys are friends again. And she's like, God bless her being my child, because she's like, Mom, it's just unfolding naturally. Like, it's just as I show up, and I just choose to be me. And just like, if I want to smile, I smile. And if I want to, it's just unfolding naturally. And she's starting to open up, and it's starting to soften. And I'm just like, why do we have to label it? Like, I'm not ready to just grab the label. I just am witnessing she's just watching it unfold, and she appreciates it, and it feels good, and it feels light. And it's like, why does everybody have to come in and be like, this means this, and this means that, and you guys are friends, and da da da. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, she can decide she desires that again, and also just show up and allow the energy to lead, and trust that, right? And trust the softening, and witness the softening, and witness the unfolding, and how much they can come towards one another in that process, right? So let me know what questions come up around this. I'll stay here for a few more minutes. If you guys have questions about, how do I implement this, right? How do I implement this? One of the things I'm doing is, on Wednesday night, I'm doing a Speak with Spirit event. And this is where you can really start to anchor this momentum of where your soul is driving you, and take action on beginning this process of what does it feel like for me? What does it feel like for me? Not for you, not for Joe Schmo, for me. When I return to this sensation, because not all of us, I know I couldn't do this myself when I started this process to be consistent with it. And it was really helpful to have somebody help me refine what I was feeling when I was connecting to this sensation of myself, this sensation of my own soul, this sensation of spirit, right? And so we're going to really refine this for you and be able to have you feel this sensation and get really clear so that the edges are clean. And this can be a very known vibration that you're coming back to and sensation that you're coming back to. How many of you right now are feeling doubt come up around this process? Just let it be seen. Speak it out loud, put it in the comments, throw it in your journal. If you're having doubt, just let it be seen, because ultimately, when I asked you earlier, what are you focusing on? We're just meant to focus on love, right? And this isn't all love and light and all that shit, right? We've talked about being present with the other stuff. But it's also about focusing on the clarification of what you desire to feel. And right now you desire to feel that love, that fortification, that trust, that clarity. And that is what builds us up. That is what gives us the clear voice to speak to other people when we come into conflict. This is the giving us momentum to be able to speak about polarizing topics with other people, whether this is politics, religion, family issues that you come into dissonance on, and then you feel stuck in relationships or at work or in other areas of your life, right? And we get so distracted and we make it about work, we make it about the relationship, and we hammer it home and we have millions of discussions, right? Whereas what happens if you would come into your partner and come into space with your partner and just hold hands in meditation and just be present with the energy together and both connect to the sensation of love, whether it's through one another, whether it's through spirit, whether it's within yourselves individually, right? How often do we try that? So allow these talking points and this sequence to light up your field energetically in one way or the other. You take from this experience what feels most resonant and allow that to be exactly what you were meant to receive from this, whether you're live or on the replay. Let it grow in your field. Let it cultivate. And if you desire help with that, you can jump on Zoom tomorrow night with me or in person. Not tomorrow night, Wednesday night for Speak with Spirit. Thank you for being here. I love you. Make sure you like and subscribe if you desire to see more videos on coming into more convicted space with yourself, with other people, and coming to this full, whole, nourishing version of yourself. So I love you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye for now.